Srila Yuva Goswami made his appearance in 1455, Sakabda, 1533 AD, on the 12th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra. He disappeared from view at the age of 85 in 1540 AD, Sakabda, third day of bright fortnight, Pausa. As a child, Sri Yuva took up the worship of Sri Ramakrishna deities. Carefully decorating them, and offering bhoga and arati, he served them attentively. Even when playing, Jiva's games were often connected with Lord Krishna's pastimes. Sri Yuva studied under the local pandits, becoming proficient in grammar, poetry and rhetoric. Watching the expression of his great intellect, his teachers predicted that he would be a very saintly person. Later in his life, he composed a grammar in Sanskrit for the pleasure of the Lord. This composition described the rules of grammar, which was explained with examples that used the holy names of the Lord. Known as Harinamamrita Vyakarana, this grammar is still current and is prescribed in the syllabus of schools in Bengal. Once in a dream, Sri Yuva saw that Sri Ramakrishna had taken the forms of Nitai Gauranga, and they were dancing. Giving him the dust of their lotus feet, the two lords then disappeared. This wonderful dream greatly consoled Sri Yuva, who was anxious to leave behind his family life and become absorbed full-time in serving Nitai Gauranga. But, being the only son of the family, and in the absence of his father, Yuva was responsible for the care of his mother. When he learned that his father had left his body on the banks of the Ganges, Sri Yuva became extremely saddened. Friends suggested that he go to Navadvipa to bathe himself in the coolness emanating from the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, so that burning grief in his mind and body might be refreshed. As Sri Yuva headed for Navadvipa with a group of pilgrims, Nityananda Prabhu also set out for Navadvipa, from Kardha. Arriving in Navadvipa, at the home of Srivasa Pandita, Sri Yuva met and fell down at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Sri Yuva enjoyed various pastimes with Nityananda Prabhu, touring the 9 islands of Navadvipa and taking darshana of the holy places of the Lord's pastimes. Yuva then travelled to Kashi, Varanasi, where he studied Vedanta under the instruction of Sri Madhusudana Vaikaspati, a disciple of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The conclusions of Vedanta contained in Srimad Bhagavatam, as they were given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Puri, had in turn been taught by the Bhattacharya to Madhusudana Vaikaspati. Sri Yuva mastered these same conclusions from him. Sri Yuva later travelled to Vrindavana, where he joined the company of his 2 uncles, Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana. Yuva stayed with Sri Rupa, who taught him Srimad Bhagavatam and gave him mantra initiation. Sri Yuva quickly became conversant with the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, so Sri Rupa engaged him in proofreading his Bhakti Rasamrita.